an arrest situation that he witnessed concerning me. And so here it goes. He said, "For myself, growing up as a black man in America, there has always been a stigma towards police and law enforcement and the legal system. That stigma being the police are not here to help us, but to hurt us, and they are not to be trusted. I believe it was ingrained in me at an early age not to trust the police. They are out to get us, and that the police are dangerous. Also, by code, we don't call, speak, or associate with police. I think for me, it was largely derived from the news or hearing stories about racial profiling by law enforcement. You hear about fear and intimidation tactics and use of excessive and even lethal force. But to experience it firsthand is a whole different thing. First, he says, one of my first interactions with law enforcement was the worst I've ever had and only reinforced my beliefs. It was around 2004. I was 16 years old, riding down South Tulsa near 71st and Lewis. It was daytime, sun out, and there was 5 of us in the car, and capitalized us, meaning black people. My friend driving, age 17, my brother riding passenger, that's me, age 21, my female classmate, age 14, my younger cousin, age 11. The police officer pulled us over and alleged we were speeding. We were not. He asked the driver for his license and registration. I know everything is in order and the vehicle is insured. We didn't have anything illegal, so I'm thinking we should be getting a ticket we don't deserve and be on our way, right? Wrong. When the officer proceeds to ask everyone in the entire vehicle for their ID or name, I thought this was an odd request, but my understanding with police is to comply or else. And he capitalized all caps or else. My brother informed the officer he did not have his ID, and rather than providing his name, he simply inquired, "I am not driving. Why do you need my ID and name?" Growing impatient, the officer demanded he provided his social security number. My brother refused to provide his social security number. The officer demanded once more that he provide the social security number. My brother refused once more. This sounds like me, right? The officer then demanded my brother to get out of the car, turn around, and put his hands behind his back. At this point, I knew things were taking a turn, but the worst was yet to come. My brother complied with the officer to exit the vehicle and put his hands behind his back and asked the officer, "Why am I being handcuffed? Am I under arrest? Why am I being arrested?" The officer read no rights like I've seen on TV shows, but instead grew increasing louder, shouting repeatedly, louder each time to the top of his lungs, "What's your social security number?" Standing behind my handcuffed brother, screaming in my brother's ear in a furious rage, the officer then lifted my handcuffed brother at least 1 foot off the ground and proceeded to WrestleMania body slam him face first towards the pavement. We all heard the loud thud as his body hit the pavement and a scream of agony. The officer continues to scream and curse now with his knee pressed firmly in my brother's back. My eyes grew large. I was scared and concerned, but I remained stoic, still as a statue, because now it is a fact: police are crazy. The situation continues to escalate when my 11-year-old younger cousin naively exits the vehicle with intention to check on my brother. The driver also opened his door and stood up. I took a deep breath. Well, he said the driver also took, he took a deep breath and a slow blink. Less than a blink of an eye, the officer had his firearm drawn and aimed at my loved ones. Looking back at it now, they are lucky to be alive. Rather than shooting them, the officer, pistol in hand, ordered them to get back in the car. They sat back down. Then one by one, gun raised, the officer ordered everyone to get out of the car and sit on the curb. And he stood 1 foot on my brother's back, pressing him to the pavement. I can remember us all being lined up on the curb as he waved his firearm back and forth to keep us in place. His backup unit started to arrive. About 5 extra units arrived on scene, and I think they told him to holster his weapon and put him in check. I don't think they asked me any questions. Maybe they searched the vehicle. I can't remember that detail. But ultimately, they made no arrests, no apologies, didn't even remember a ticket being issued. They let us go like nothing happened. We left and just shook our heads saying, wow, that was crazy. I don't share this story often, but I can remember sharing it about 6 or 7 years after the incident in a presentation to my college classmates. They were horrified, and I think my teacher cried. But to me, it had become not the norm, but my expectation, and just regular. It was so long ago, and I had been pulled over several times since, and vehicles searched for no reason. After that, for me, an interaction with law enforcement when pulled over are tense moments. I never know what to expect, so I always expect the worst. I was 16 years old when the incident happened. It's been 16 years since that event. It continued to shape my views on law enforcement today, but those views have also been amplified by the increasing number of unwarranted officer-involved shootings and viral videos of excessive force.